Google Ads is one of the best ways to reach your clients just in time for their next real estate transaction. And no, I'm not referencing guessing or fortune telling or anything to that effect. Your future clients themselves self-identify as home buyers or home sellers. So all you need to do is run Google Ads so you can be on the other side of the internet or on the other side of the phone to help them buy or sell. Let's begin. Hey, it's Jaime. If we're just meeting, welcome to the channel that brings actionable content to grow your business through online marketing. So if that sounds beneficial, consider subscribing. Question of the day. Are you using Google Ads in your business today? Let me know in the comment section down below. So let's start off with identifying the opportunity. You basically have two ways to advertise through Google Ads, and that is through search or through display. Sure, there are other types of ads. However, they basically go back to the search and display. You can run shopping ads or app ads, but they're basically the same thing, with search and display being the key drivers. So first, let's look at search. With search ads, you're paying to be on the front page of Google. So whenever somebody searches for homes to buy, what's the value of my home, whatever the case may be, you're wanting to rank first. And you have that ability in a paid way, not an organic way, but in a paid way to claim the top 4 spots or the bottom 3 spots on that first page of Google. And much goes into determining if you're gonna get on that first page. You may not win the first page, but you could get into the second or into the third. At the end of the day, it's an auction style system. So dependent on your budget and dependent on how much you're paying per click is going to dictate if you're gonna be able to rank high with a paid ad. So if you're trying to run ads that are a bit clickbaity or just garbage where a lot of people click and then immediately bounce out, that's gonna penalize your ad, and you're ultimately gonna either be paying more or your ads are gonna be suppressed altogether. Now with display or the display network, the bidding system works basically the same way. The difference is that with the display network, your ads can actually show outside of Google. So your ads can show up on millions of other websites, videos, and apps where people can click on them and get rerouted straight to where you want them. This way, users don't have to come to Google and actually start searching for what they're looking for. Now, those are the two primary types of advertising with Google Ads. But today, we're gonna be zeroing in on search. As mentioned in the intro, a client is self-identifying themselves as a client simply by what they search. You see this all the time, and you do this all the time as a consumer, where you're searching things like how to buy a house, homes for sale in Mira Vista, Fort Worth. How much is my house worth? So clients are letting you know simply by what they're searching for on their intentions. So if you see keywords or if you see searches like, should I sell my house this year or next, you get a strong sense of what their intentions are. This is considerably different than Facebook, as Facebook is more of a disruptive type of advertising, and here it's more intention based. So before we actually run the ad, let's look at the breakdown. At the campaign level, here known as a campaign type, you decide how you will place yourself in front of the client. At the ad set level, here known as an ad group, this is where you decide who you want to show in front of by their searches, those keywords and search phrases. At the ad level, here known as, well, an ad, you decide what you're going to say. So now that we've contextualized Google Ads, let's actually run a search ad. Okay, so this is what your interface looks like. If this is the first time that you're running a Google ad, don't be intimidated. It just looks a little bit different than if you've run Facebook ads as an example. So we're gonna go to new campaign. Right off the bat, you're encouraged to create a goal for your campaign. And really the only thing that this does is it's going to limit your presets on the back end. Whenever you click sales as an example, there are It's a different interface that's going to be introduced to you after you click through and start creating your campaign. Same thing with leads, but in all honesty, these two are actually the same. It's just they just want you to be clear with what you're doing. Website traffic, basically the same thing as over here. Really where you start seeing differences is in the product and brand consideration, brand awareness, and for sure whenever you go without a goals guidance. So you do not have to select either one. They just make it, they being Google Ads, makes it simple for you to select what you're after, so then they can give you some templates on the back end so you're guided towards the campaign working. If you're going to run a sales, leads, or conversion or website traffic campaign, then you do need to have certain conversions ready to go. And when I mean conversions, I mean coming up here and creating an actual conversion. We're not going to do that today, but I just want you to be fully aware that you're going to need one of those in order for those to be running efficiently. So today we're going to choose a website traffic campaign because that gives us a search feature. If you click over here to product and brand consideration, you see that the search goes away. When you go to brand awareness and reach, same thing. You don't have the option of search. You either have display or advertise through YouTube. But when you go to create without a goals guidance, then the entire catalog is open to you. So you can select any campaign type at that time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with website traffic. We're going to go to search. And let's just read real quick. Drive more traffic to your site with text or call ads that show near search results of google.com or Google search partner sites and more. So we're going to click right there. And then we're going to type in a website. You do not have to do this. The only thing that typing in the website does here, it gives keyword ideas for you to use later on when you're selecting the ad group that you want to advertise to. So we're going to go to continue. I'm not going to worry about the name, but what we are going to worry about is this. When you see the networks, ads can appear near Google search results and other Google sites when people search for terms that are relevant to your keywords. The important thing to note here is other Google sites. So this isn't only talking about that opportunity that I was telling you about where if it's a competitive keyword, then you're going to have the front page have 4 top searches and then 3 bottom searches on that front page, assuming that there's a lot of competition for those keywords. So we actually want to exclude that. And then on the display, you see expand your reach by showing ads to relevant customers as they browse sites, videos, and essentially the display network description that we just talked about. So we're going to exclude both of these. By us excluding these networks, what we're saying is only show us on Google search. And that's what we want. So you see the other options. You can select when you want your campaigns to run. So if you're going to be out of town, then you can select when they should be go away so they're not running and you're not having to figure out if there's going to be Wi-Fi access to where you're going. Campaign URL options. Let's see what we have there. We're not going to worry about tracking templates for now. We're not going to worry about tracking templates for now. That's beyond the scope of this particular video, but just know you're able to inject a template for your benefit and you're able to see which ads actually converted. So it gives you more in-depth information so you're not running ad spin to where the campaigns aren't converting. So you're able to track that, and it's a very cool feature to have. Dynamic search ad settings. Dynamic search ads, we're not going to do that today, but essentially with dynamic search ads, we're going to read it right here. Target relevant searches automatically based off of your website. Then use headlines automatically customized to people's actual searches. This is a neat feature, but we're not going to use this today. We're actually going to do our own level of split testing and not rely on the automatic options that we have here. So I do encourage you to check those out. But again, I want to give you the least resistance possible to where you actually run a Google ad and benefit from it. So we're going to hide those settings and we're going to keep going. Then we get to targeting and audiences. This is where you select where you want to target. So here we're going to go to United States and we're going to go to, let's go Sacramento. So we're going to be targeting Sacramento. And then you select people in or who show interest in your targeted locations. If you're looking just for people that live in that area, this is not the place for you. You need to go to people in or regularly in your targeted locations, because what you're including here are people that are, let's say, in New York, going to Sacramento for whatever reason, or looking at information in Sacramento. Now, if you're in the relocation business or are after people that are migrating to the state or away from the state, then this is a strategy that you can use. As an example, here in Dallas-Fort Worth area, there's a good amount of interest because of all the jobs, the economy, and everything that's working well. So we have a lot of people coming in from all over the place. So maybe leaving this on, as long as you're targeting the right keywords, is advantageous for you. But for our purposes, today, we are not going to do that. And then you can also exclude people in certain locations. Let me show you the advanced search real quick, where you can actually select a radius and then drop a pin, and then you're advertising in that particular area. So you can get very, very refined with what you're doing. So I'll leave that just so you see it. And then you can select an additional language if you would like. You don't have to, but if you happen to speak Spanish, Chinese, whatever it is, you're able to target that. Now, I do suggest that if you are going to be advertising, let's just say in Spanish, that your ad actually is read in Spanish, that you actually write an ad that is in Spanish. The simple fact of putting se habla español, it's just not going to cut it. It could in your market, but most often than not, it's not. So just a little pro tip right there. When we go to audiences, this is where you can do your retargeting or select people that you want to target. Let's just say the demographics. You get the parental status, education, homeownership status, their interests, so what they're commonly looking at, if they're actively researching or planning, so if they're in market to purchase, so these are people that are more ready to make a transaction, how they have interacted with your business, so you're able to remarket in this particular option right here. So you go with combine lists, website visitors, YouTube users, so you're able to get very detailed in your retargeting, and then combined audiences, you're able to combine these together. We're not going to select any of these today, but just know that that is an option for you. And then depending on the budget, you can do a monthly budget or you can do a daily budget. Just know that if you go with, let's say, $50 per day, that's what you want to spend per day, it is an average that you're spending in 30 days. Simply because you have 50 days $50 in this day does not mean that you're going to get up to $50 on a Monday, same thing on Tuesday, same thing on a Wednesday. It's not going to happen that way. That is something that you're going to see on Facebook. Here, it's going to average out. So on Monday, you could see $100, and then the next day you're going to see $25, and then the next day maybe $50. But at the end of the day, it's going to average out in the span of 30 days to what you put every single day. So just be aware of that. Then when you go to bidding, you can optimize based off of conversions or clicks or click conversion value. This is where I was mentioning at the beginning, those first two options, the leads and sales, those you do have to have a conversion. Here in the traffic, you do have the option of optimizing based off of conversions or clicks. If this is the first time that you're running the ad and have no conversion set up, then you will want to go to clicks because you're not going to have a conversion to optimize for. So we're going to go with clicks just because I guess the most of the audience right now is probably at this stage. If not, let me know in the comments section and I'll make an updated video to show you the other way as well. All right, let's go and see additional settings. Conversions, you can select the actual conversion you want to optimize for. So you have all those right there. assuming you have multiple conversions that are active. Right now I have about 4 or 5 that are active. The others I have suppressed. You can select the ad schedule, the time of day, and the time that you want them to run. And then you have, if you're running multiple ads, you can optimize based off of prefer best performing ads, do not optimize, optimize for conversions, rotate evenly, all that fun stuff. Just leave it on the default. You really don't need to do much in this section. Just know that it exists. So we're going to hide those settings. And then we get to the 3 most common extensions. And that is the Sitelink extensions, call out extensions, and call extension. Sitelink extensions are essentially additional hyperlinks that you can have in your campaign. So whenever your ad shows up, you're going to have the main titles and then descriptions, and then you can add some additional Sitelink extensions. If you're selling, let's just say in real estate, if you are you have a message towards buyers and a message towards sellers, then you can segment those so they have their own hyperlink. On the seller side, you can do a free CMA, so they go straight into the CMA funnel. And then on the buyer side, you can have pre-built list of homes, home prices in particular neighborhoods. So that's a way to segment those as well. I have several. We're not going to get too much into it, but just know that that's what Sitelink extensions are. You just create one right there. You have the text, a bit of description of what it is, and then the URL. So we're going to cancel that just so you know that that exists. On the callout extensions, just adding some additional information. This is not hyperlink. This is just more of a point of emphasis. So think of it as putting it in bold, if you will. Whenever you're typing something out and you want people to really capture what's happening, that's what call out extensions are. You're really highlighting and showcasing an item of your business. The call extensions, this is where you add your phone number. You have the option of using your own phone number, or you have the option of using Google's phone number to where it's actually tracked. Now, if you're going to do the track strategy, then I suggest that you have a conversion set up because that's going to work best for you. But just know that you can add your call extension. So add your phone number in your ad as well. And the reason I suggest the conversions aspect is because you are able to track it that way. Well, you're able to track it here as well, but it works better with the conversions. As you can see here, you can put that on, and the advanced options, you have those right there. You can switch, you can turn these on, turn these off. You have a good amount of flexibility with your call extensions. And you have several more obscure extensions that aren't used as much. So we're not going to get too much into these. Most of them happen to be in the form of product sales. So the services business is not as common here, but just know that these are available. So you see a lead form extension, which is actually pretty neat, but we're not going to get into it. So it's adding more and more items. This lead from extensions was not here several months ago. So they're adding things every single month, it seems like. So we're going to go to save and continue. And now we get to the ad groups. This is where we select when we want our ads to show up. So these are the keywords that we select. And we have several options here as well. You have, well, let's just say, how to buy a house, how to sell my house. These are polar opposites. You're looking at here for more buyers, and here you're looking for sellers. So just be cognizant of that. So I suggest that if you're working with buyers, have your ads geared towards buyers, from the keywords all the way to your ads, because you don't want to send conflicting messages. What does that mean? That means if you're targeting in, let's just say, how to buy my first house. If you're targeting people that have this type of search pattern right here and beyond, and in your ad, you're talking about CMAs and the valuation of your home, that is incongruent. People are not going to click through, and your ads are going to be performing worse and going to cost you more. At the end of the day, as a reminder, Google values the experience. So that is a good way for your ads to cost more and your ads to be suppressed because you're providing a bad experience for your users. And so when we get to the actual keywords, you would go to Tools and Settings and go to the Keyword Planner. And on the Keyword Planner, when you type in phrases like this, it's going to give you some suggestions on what to target. And remember when we typed in that URL here at the beginning, at the beginning of our ad creation, this is where it comes back up. It went over to the website and it scrubs data to where it gives you some suggestions on what to target. So what keywords you want to target. So I'm just gonna add these in blindly just so you see that they're working over here. They're being added to this group. So then example group, you have those ready to go. And then when it comes to matching the types, there's different ways that people search on Google, and there's different ways that you can trigger these keywords to fire for your ad to actually show up. As a reminder, your ad's going to show up if it's winning in the auction. So if you have a large enough budget and are bidding enough for the keywords, then that's when it shows up. And the keyword planner is going to give you a good semblance of what is considered a good keyword in relation to how much you want to spend. When you go to match types, you can, as they're sitting right now, these are broad match. Essentially, if anybody types anything close to this, then your ad could potentially show up. When you type in the parentheses, this is a phrase match where this actual phrase in quotations actually has to be somewhere in their search for it to show up. And then the exact match is put in brackets. So if I bracketed this, then this is somebody typing in home listings. They have to type it this exact same way in order for this to show up. And then over here, if I were to put it in those quotations that I was mentioning, you can do a phrase match. Now there's an additional thing here. It's a broad match modifier, but we're not going to get too much into that. So you can see what it looks like. Just know that you can go to learn more and see the broad match modifier option right here, similar to broad match, except that the broad match modifier option only shows ads in searches that includes the words with a plus sign. So effectively what you're saying is if you want the agent to be part of it, and it must be part of it, but the rest can kind of be broad, then that's a broad match modifier. And you can add multiple ad groups, so you can be split testing right here. This is that element of split testing that I was referencing earlier that will go a long way. So remember that you want to have as many split tests that you can budget and deduce information from. We're going to save and continue. Okay, so now that we're at the creating of the ad, you see that we have another option for the ad group there as well. So you can actually create another ad for the additional ad group that you selected. That goes back to what I was mentioning. Have a message for buyers and a message for sellers, and make sure that you're speaking to the audience that you're trying to get in front of. So here you're going to have 3 potential headlines. So you're going to go headline 1, headline 2, headline 3. Now, this is about a year old. You were not, you didn't have the option of doing 3 headlines in the past, but now you do. As you can see right here, 30 characters a piece. And here you can add a display path, which is more of a phantom URL. This does not have to exist. This just gives a bit more locality. You're able, locality is probably not a word. You're able to appear a bit more local than what you may be. So let's just say you're trying to specialize in a city like Coppell. I know that I gave the Sacramento example. Well, I guess I better stay consistent. So let's go with Sacramento agent. You see that right there? It gets added. The URL is going to work where you're sending the this actual URL over here. Let's add that HTTPS. It'll still work without it, but it gives you a little yellow flag. So we'll take care of it already. Okay, so as I was mentioning, this is a phantom URL, so it's going to go straight to the URL. It's just what it appears like. So I suggest that you at least put the city or put a neighborhood that you specialize in, so it gives that additional credence that you are local. And then in the description, you're working on that right here. You have a bit more options. So you have 90 characters to work with, 90 characters to work with. You're done. Create the next ad. So you can split test in this ad group and continue going that way. So I'm going to cancel that. And then I'll just do another quick, as a reminder, this will work. And I'll show you. So I'm just going to put headline 2, description 1, save and continue, save. And that's how you run Google Ads.